Joining us on the line is Belinda Abram. She's the SPCA spokesperson. And we're going to talk about, of course, the five kids bust for dog fights. The pit bulls have been saved in a retreat. Welcome, Belinda. It's good to have you.
Always lovely to chat to you, Clarence, and the CapeTalk listeners.
I think first and foremostly, you've managed to save those pit bulls. You said that they were severely injured. What is their condition at this moment in time?
Clarence, sadly, one of the dogs that had to be put down because of the extent of the injuries and the extent of suffering on admission. The other pit bull is recovering well, still under veterinary observation in our hospital.
Can they recover, I guess, just from the kind of trauma? Is it something that they can heal from beyond the obvious wounds that have been inflicted?
It's a very difficult question to answer. You know, it's dependent on individual animals, but we have to be cognizant of the fact that these are animals that have been taught to fight or taught to be aggressive towards other animals, and that it's been done so using aversive training methods or punishment. So we're sitting with a dog that potentially would not be rehomable for those reasons. You know, people that want to adopt animals want to be able to take them to the beaches. They want to go to dog parks. They want to be able to have people over that have children, etc. And while fighting dogs are not generally animal aggressive, we have to be cognizant of the trauma that they've been through, as well as the length of time rehabilitation would take in a kenneled environment. So it's always about making the best decision for those animals at the time.
So the prognosis is not necessarily good, even if those wounds heal?
Correct.
For the quality of life that you seek to protect as the SPCA?
Correct. You know, Clarence, we've also had animals that we've rescued from dog fighting before, specifically bait dogs.
Yeah.
And those dogs have sat and waited in kennels for months and months and months with nobody actually being prepared to say, you know, we'll give this animal a chance. And to be extremely considerate of people that are stepping forward and saying we'd like to open our homes and our hearts to the dog. You know, do we burden people with that?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem fair. So, but the forefront of our mind is always the consideration for the animal and what is the best course of action for them.
So we've heard about dog fighting rings on the Cape Flats, and it goes with some gambling on the side as well. So there's some money involved in it. It's not just a sport for the love of blood, but kids getting involved. How widespread is that?
So I think this is an emerging problem, Clarence, and we haven't yet put our finger on it. It's one of two things. You know, either we've got children in communities that are just absolutely devoid of compassion, or have been, you know, just have an ever-growing desensitization to violence because of what they witnessed daily. So there's that, or there's the fact that children of a certain age don't have criminal capacity in terms of the law, and that people are actually then using them to go out and do the dirty work for them.
Yes.
You know, for their purpose.
So is it just not...
I mean, yeah.
Is it just not having grown into an appreciation of life and the beauty thereof? In other words, you're not mature enough to understand and relate to that just yet.
Yeah, you know, I think that with regards to being that young, I mean, 10 and 12, stealing dogs and using them for fighting purposes, and actually getting enjoyment from watching two dogs tear each other apart, there's really it's just a stark reminder of the pressing need for empathy and compassion within our communities. And it's an absence of a value among children that's really cause for grave concern.
If I hear you correctly, Belinda, you're saying we need to grow empathy, and we cannot grow it out of a cane, can we? Because these kids live in communities, in homes where there's very little love, often an absent father, where there is domestic violence in the home and immediately outside of the home. They need to be taught something different to what they know, ultimately.
Correct. And I think, you know, I've been in the NGO sector for many years, Clarence, and worked at institutions like child welfare. So I have very real insight into all little concerns within communities and things that are happening and the reasons for this. At the end of the day, you know, somebody needs to be a voice for the voiceless, and essentially animals and children, I think, are probably both, well, most definitely not probably worthy of protection and our support.
We're going to rest it there, and we appreciate your time as always, Belinda Abram, SPCA spokesperson.